On this episode, we continue with even more dining updates from some of our favorite spots. Today's October 15th, 2024, and this is episode 711 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys! Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, in addition to live streams from the parks and our weekly live show, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. Ready for your next bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI-Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
So I feel like it has been a hot minute since we have sat down and done this.
It has been. I'm trying to remember. I think we recorded last week in here, right? Yes.
Well, we were trying to get ready because we were going back down to Disney to hang out with Chuck and Amy and Rachel. And Milton had other plans for us.
Yes.
So
we're just not, I don't think we're destined to do the Halloween party this year.
No.
Which is sad.
Which is very sad.
We will miss it.
We are going down to Disney this coming Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
We might ask if they
might. You know you're asking.
We'll see
if any tickets open.
If any tickets, because usually they'll have the signs.
Mm-hmm. And that is a tip, honestly, is that sometimes day of you can get tickets if you go to in person. You know, so we'll see exactly where we would have to go. We're staying at All Star. I don't know that we can go down to the front desk there, to concierge and purchase them. It may be that we have to go to a guest services area like at Disney Springs or the front of Magic Kingdom.
Which either way,
we're heading straight to Magic Kingdom on Thursday anyway.
And why are we?
Well, because we still want to get access to the Halloween party merch.
And we can.
Yes, because I did screenshots. If you remember, we mentioned last time, when our last one was canceled, that day you could still go in and they have all the merch out all the time. And if you show them your party ticket, they will let you in for that date, even if it was canceled. Well, we didn't have them because they'd already canceled them and refunded our money.
Correct.
Which they have done this time. But prior to that happening, I went ahead and did screenshots of the tickets. So we're going to go down. We're going to see if we can get access. And then at that point, we can go to the front guest services. We can ask, is anything for sale? So we'll see. Again, least of people's worries is missing a Halloween party. After Helene came through, we had Hurricane Milton. So again, if you go out, there are tons of places you can donate. There's tons of places you can help. Anything you can do would help. We are very, very lucky and fortunate here.
Oh, yeah.
At home in St. Augustine,
yes.
we didn't get anything much
very
here where we are.
Yes.
There are some areas around in downtown St. Augustine that had some flooding and some stuff down and power loss and all. But yeah, anything you can do to go help, go ahead and go out and do that. There are millions of places that you can go ahead and donate some money. So with all that being said, during that time, we did do some car camping at Fort Wilderness.
Yes, we did.
We'll talk about some of the dining that we did there, and we'll give you some updates there. But let's start with 2 weeks. I don't even know when it was.
I don't either.
I don't even know what day it is because as of Monday, our school system's announced, right?
Yeah,
that
Milton was
that
coming,
school's closed
so
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yep. And then
kids are already off Monday,
Yep.
which is tomorrow at the time we're recording this for a planning day. So they're getting 6 days off. So they're getting this mini fall break vacation And so it's just, if Rhonda was off Wednesday,
because all my clients
like,
started getting nervous and scared, which
Yeah,
I don't blame them. I was
understandable.
this one, I've lived in Florida for 45 years, and I'm not gonna lie, this one made me very nervous.
Me too. I wasn't going to admit it out loud.
But I am blessed we are blessed beyond measures that everything is okay and we are all fine. So anyways,
well, let's chat real quick, because in a little while nobody will remember this or care anymore probably, but I still think, Universal and Disney, I thought, made very last minute decisions about what they were doing, right?
Yeah, because they were a lot closer too.
They came a lot later on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was late Tuesday afternoon before Universal made an announcement. It was even an hour or two after that before Disney made an announcement. They both were going to stay open on Wednesday for some time,
Till
close
2
at like
p.m.
1 to 2 p.m.
Yep.
I just personally think that was a bad move and a bad look on both of those parks, and I think most people did. I felt like one, I guess it'd be a hot take, who thought, "Oh, it's not a big deal. They'll get home and they'll still have plenty of time before a hurricane hits to get ready, the cast members and all." But it didn't seem like there was a need for them to be open at all on Wednesday. So that part, and of course for the folks that were already there, it's understandable. You've planned this for a long time. You're going to get out and you're going to enjoy it. So I think it's understandable for those folks. But you had a lot of people that just went to go. Which is putting more pressure on cast members and all of that stuff. So I just found it interesting. And again, in a little while, nobody will care. Nobody will remember that that's what they did. But I just found it surprising. That's all. So I thought I'd say it out loud. Because not everything that Disney does do we think is the best or smartest or love. So I almost wanted to say it just to prove that, right? It's not all rose-colored glasses.
Right.
I think that was a bad decision. I think it made both Disney and Universal look bad, and as though they cared more about money than their cast members or team members. Was all.
Yeah, and I'll agree with that, because I think in a sense you should almost have a meeting and kind of go, well, whatever you think, what is because well,
they did. Here's the thing. Obviously, a ton of thought went into these closing and reopening procedures. Obviously, it's not one guy just sitting around like, I'll decide later. Yeah, whatever. We'll close it
but
too.
I mean,
it's a huge group that is getting together. They're running They're running everything they possibly can. So somewhere in whatever it is, in an Excel spreadsheet, on a document, it says it is better for us to stay open at 2 p.m.
But when you have counties closing,
no, I agree. They shouldn't have. I'm just saying it's not as though Disney or Universal took the decision lightly. I'm not saying that.
Right.
I just think that everything, whatever it is that they put into making a decision like this, I just think in the end, it was a wrong decision. And I understand that they lose a lot of money simply being closed down for a day or a day and a half or whatever it may be. But I think Disney is still suffering a lot from people who are upset with all the changes, with the extra costs of Lightning Lane. They're just raising Lightning Lane single pass here. So we're seeing, as you start to see them, again, charge. Free Magical Express went away. The free Fast Pass went away. The free all these things, they're adding up. And I think sometimes Disney needs a win. And this would have been a win to say, we value our cast members and our guests and we want to make sure that our cast members have plenty of time. And I understand a lot of the ride-out crew for Hurricanes are volunteer-based.
Yeah.
Some of these people, it was not their choice to go in Wednesday. They had to. But overall, the ones that were left Wednesday night into Thursday, a lot of those are volunteer-based. Their management, things like that. I just think, in the end, I think it would have looked good for Disney to say, we value our cast members so much. We want to make sure they have plenty of time to be home with their families, if they have children, are all off school.
Right.
We want them to be at home either with their families or preparing for whatever this hurricane may be, and we would like to give them plenty of time.
Yeah.
That's all.
And to be honest, a lot of people were staying away because it was a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
so then you have
a lot of people evacuating,
cast members,
and you had
you have cast members going in to be like, oh, well, we don't need you, so you can go home now.
And here's the other thing with
nobody was there.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about food. But here's the other thing with these, you had a lot of people that Monday and Tuesday and all were evacuating from areas like Central Florida and, of course, west and Tampa area, St. Pete.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all.
Traffic was crazy.
Yeah, and
going south.
so just to assume
north.
that somebody could say, yeah, well, you know what? If they're off at 1 or 2, or even if they have the whole day Wednesday, that's plenty of time to evacuate. No, it's not, because places were running out of gas, running out of supplies, people were getting stuck in traffic,
sad.
and
Yep.
you also have to remember we're very, very fortunate that if we had to evacuate, we have all the means to evacuate.
Right.
We have the stuff, like we have everything we need. We have vehicles. We can get gas if it's available. We can pay for it. It costs a lot of money to evacuate. It costs a lot of resources. There's also that fear of just leaving your home and everything in it behind. Can 100%. You take animals or not? You know, we almost evacuated years ago up to Georgia, and then we saw that this hurricane, I can't remember if that was Matthew or Irma.
It was Matthew.
Matthew?
Yep.
And we got in the car. We got everything packed up. It is a lot. And regardless, it does cost money between gas, possible hotel stays, food, getting additional supplies, medication, whatever it may be. It is not as easy as just going, evacuate. Okay, let's go, guys.
Right.
There's a lot to it. So,
right.
I think you needed to leave a lot of those people that time. So let's talk about food.
Okay.
Because that's what I'm most excited for today
Yes.
is the food. So this is going to span basically past 2 trips. We had Momentum Weekend, which we already covered some there. Like we went to Jock Lindsay's, if you go back 2 episodes, and tried some of the new items there, which we loved. There's also cover the car camping weekend that we had at Fort Wilderness, which we did 2 nights there. And within that Momentum Weekend, this also includes Sunday solo day for Rhonda. Rhonda went to parks by herself. She ate food by herself. She did it all, folks. Very proud of her. But let's start with our Saturday night after the Momentum conference ended up. I was feeling all kinds of momentum. I was feeling all kinds of recommendations from Lou Mangello.
Oh, yeah.
Who, if you follow Lou, if you listen to the WDW radio, or you're in the WDW radio nation and Clubhouse and all, you know that Lou loves Boathouse. We've run into Lou at Boathouse during brunch one time.
Yeah,
we went with your brother and sister-in-law and all. And he raves about the filet mignon sliders, which we've never had.
Correct.
So I thought, you know what? Let's go down to Boathouse. Let's see if we can get a reservation or what. So here's a really great tip for Boathouse, right? If you can't get a reservation, what are some other alternatives or options? And we had a beautiful evening. The weather's finally getting to cooler evenings, even though it can still be pretty warm during the day.
Yes, very hot.
The mornings and evenings, this is key Florida right now.
Yeah.
Right? 68 in the morning. Oh, it's the best.
Yes, it is. So we went up and I asked if they had room for 2, basically. And she said out at the floating dock. And it's first come, first serve. So it was out at the bar area around there. There were actually bar seats, but there were tables down on the floating dock that, we just decided to sit out there. There's umbrellas and stuff, but it wasn't raining. It was a beautiful night.
Perfect. You're right on the water, literally.
Literally.
And they'll open
it's
those.
floating.
Yeah, they'll open those as need be. So they really only had about half maybe of that floating dock open when we were there that evening. But as more people would come, they can always expand. It's just that much easier.
And depending on how many
servers.
I just started to say.
We inadvertently sat next to my new friend Sean from Momentum. Which
actually he sat next to us.
He did.
We were sitting there.
Yeah, he sat next to us. So that was super cool. I wish now we had like joined tables again. I get super these conferences. It takes me a good 24 to 48 hours to like feel comfortable myself and come out of my shell a little bit. And I was not there as of Saturday night.
But it was nice just to have you.
It was.
Because Saturday
we had a wonderful little date night, right?
Yeah, because Saturday I was with Tay and Steph. And they were at the Halloween party prior that night. And so she was tired. And because we were all maybe looking to hang out. But she was tired and just wanted to go back to the hotel, which was great for them because they were leaving the next day. Yeah. So it was just going to be me and Jeremy. And I was like, what do you want to do? And so we were like, well, we were walking distance, very short walking distance, I felt like, since compared to the other places we've stayed.
Yeah, so I didn't realize. So we stayed at the Hilton Orlando, Lake Buena Vista, right there at Disney Springs. It is across the street from the Wyndham Lake Buena Vista. Of course, all of these can be booked with MEI-Travel.
Yes.
And I think if you pretty much timed it door to door, that Hilton Orlando, I think, is the exact same distance as if you walk out the front lobby of the Wyndham Lake Buena Vista. It's a great location.
It is. I would be curious if it's just a little bit closer.
A little bit. It might be,
but I don't
right?
know.
It throws you off because you technically go across the 2 bridges.
Right.
You know, to get over those
Right.
overpasses as opposed to the 1, so it almost feels shorter from the Wyndham. But we obviously love the Disney Springs
Yes, we do.
hotels.
Yes.
And again, you can book all those through MEI-Travel.
Yes.
So reach out and check those out because there are some wonderful options there. So the Boathouse,
on the floating dock.
On the
and
floating
it is
dock.
floating seriously, and sometimes
Little
things
word of
come
warning,
by.
right?
I was completely fine, and I feel like unfortunately the older I get, the more like I am like one little thing can almost set me off. So
With motion.
yeah, I would say I was completely fine. So I would say I think anybody would be fine.
But know that there can be some movement.
Yes.
You can be
100%.
so obviously it's not the length or the amount of being on a boat, but if you were somebody who could get nauseous just out on a little boat, out fishing or something, this could have some similar feeling to it. So, again, this episode and the one 2 weeks ago, they're all about updates. Now, this is about going back to places we haven't been in a long time.
Right.
And maybe getting some of the items we've always talked about and loved. Let's see if they're still good. Or getting some items that are new to the menu or new to us.
Right.
So the first 2 items we have had in the past.
Yes.
We had them New Year's Eve, long
So
time ago.
good.
We were with Rob and Tina, all the kids. We rented that little condo place down across I-4 near Carib Royale. I can't remember the name of it. And we went here for lunch and sat out on the floating docks.
Yes.
And we did get these 2 items. What'd we get? And are they still as good as we remembered?
We got the hoisin chili calamari, which is red bell peppers, jalapeno, green onions, sesame seeds for $19. And we got the firecracker shrimp, which is sriracha mayo, tricolored sweet peppers, sesame seeds for $18. So we learned something at Boathouse. We always joke, and if we're at a different restaurant and say, oh, look, the shrimp are bigger than Boathouse. I think the only shrimp that are very nice size, good, is in the shrimp cocktail. We did see that go by, and we saw these amazing big pieces. These firecracker shrimp were your shrimp salad shrimp. I mean, I held one up. There's a picture of me, and it is tiny.
Yeah.
I mean,
the real
might
problem
be
is inconsistency
Yeah.
in size. Like, I don't feel like they all came from the same
correct.
batch.
Yeah, I like.
Delicious.
They were very
Delicious.
good. They really were, but they were just really small,
Yeah.
and they were just.
We got to go back and get the shrimp cocktail.
We do.
Yeah. Now, this is one, oddly enough, a lot of times like the shrimp and grits or some of these things at Boathouse, we honestly don't recommend with the shrimp. I would still recommend this, even though they're on the smaller side.
Yeah.
Now, I would recommend the hoisin chili calamari over this.
Oh, absolutely.
By a
The
landslide,
calamari is
right?
so good. Mhm.
I think it might be our favorite on property.
It might be.
So, I don't know if they listen or not, but they follow us on Instagram. Had sent me a message. Frontera Cucina has a new calamari on their menu.
Ooh.
And they said, I know that you guys love calamari and you try it everywhere you can go, because we do. We always try calamari if they've got it somewhere. So we need to go there and try it.
Okay.
I don't know if maybe that'll be a this Thursday thing or something. We
Okay.
could go. We have not been there in a long time.
Yeah, maybe we could.
We have very mixed reviews ourselves of Frontera Cucina, both
Right.
between the food and what was on the walls in the men's bathroom. It was not inappropriate writing.
No.
Yeah.
It was inappropriate body.
Body fluids
Ew.
of the poo factor. I don't want anyone to get their minds too in a gutter.
Oh.
These are outstanding. And we have the red bell peppers in there and the jalapeno, the green onions, all that stuff that is also breaded and fried in there. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. I still think my favorite calamari of all time is at the Conch House here in St. Augustine on the water.
Okay.
It's very simple, but they fry with their calamari, and I believe it's all rings. They're good size. They're perfectly lightly fried. Is banana peppers.
No, I
with the
think they
marinara,
have a little
and then
bit.
Parmesan cheese.
I think they have a little bit of tentacles.
Oh, do they? Okay. But they're fried with banana peppers.
Yeah.
And then they are sprinkled with Parmesan cheese, and they come with this side of marinara, and they're amazing. But these I love. I think it's definitely the best calamari on property that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to the filet mignon sliders.
We did get these.
So we had to get the filet mignon sliders, and not only because Lou recommends them and loves them, and I will give you a tip about them that he gave me after the fact.
Oh, but
so maybe we do go to Disney Springs Thursday. Okay, we'll talk about it in a second. Let's just say this. So, but not only does Lou love these, I have seen nothing but wonderful things and reviews about these for as long as they've been on the menu.
Right.
So what do we get? What are filet mignon sliders? Because it's
3 sliders.
About the simplest dish in the entire. I bet it's the simplest dish on Disney property.
Okay. It is filet mignon, 3 sliders, maitre d' butter for $22.
Maitre d'.
Okay. What'd I say?
Maitre d'.
Okay, it's the same thing.
Well, that'd be like if Toe Mater was, I feel like, giving you butter. I don't want butter from Toe Mater.
Well, okay.
Very greasy.
He's
a truck.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, it's $22 for 3 sliders, which are kind of like probably like, that's a lot for 3 sliders.
$7.33 a slider.
But worth every penny.
Every penny.
These
and then I would give them more money for these.
Were amazing. Like the filet mignon, you know how sometimes you bite through steak and you kind of got to pull it.
You sometimes give it a little pull.
You got to use your teeth. I mean, no, this is...
Definition of when somebody says steak is like butter.
Yes.
Right? I mean, this is...
It's so good.
And I say the simplest dish because it is a bun.
Yeah.
It is a piece of filet mignon.
Is it their buns, by the way?
No, I don't think it's their rolls. To me, it was much more of a... oh my God! Almost more like a potato roll or egg roll style.
Okay.
I don't believe these were their rolls.
Well,
which,
speaking of
tip.
that,
yeah, give the tip about sitting out on the floating dock.
Tina loves these rolls and was asking if
everybody loves these rolls.
Well, yeah, but she specifically does and was texting us and was like, "Did you get rolls?" And I was like, "Oh no, what? We didn't." We look around; nobody else has them. Of course, we're like, "Oh no, are they not doing them anymore?" So we actually asked our waiter, and he said out on the floating dock, because they have to go inside to get them, you have to ask for them. So of course we were like,
yes, please.
Yes, please. We are asking.
Yeah.
And
so make
we
sure
did
you ask.
get them.
Yeah, make sure you ask.
And they're so good.
But yeah, these, I mean, again, they're so simple, but they are so good.
So good.
I told Lou the next morning, I said, hey, we finally got the bites, the sliders. He was like, how are they? I said this to you and I said this to him, and I do think it's true. Roll your eyes all you want.
Oh, God.
I think
Here we go, guys.
I think it's the best single bite that I've had on property. Not as like
good
the whole
job.
like does it make sense though? When you take one bite and it's that perfect.
Okay.
While being that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Again, what do we talk about with the festivals? Italy. They try too much and it doesn't work. All they need is simple.
Okay.
This is simple. Obviously, you're not going to do filet mignon sliders at Italy, but I'm just saying it could be as simple as bread and meat and some butter, and it can still be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that one bite is just like melt in your mouth. We each had one, and then there was a third one left. Like, I sat forever because I didn't want to eat it because I didn't want it to be over.
We could have ordered another one.
Oh, I mean, honestly, I could see, and we got a side of fries.
Yeah.
I do love their fries. Their
Yeah, you could
fries.
totally do this.
I could see.
Be very expensive.
Well, I mean, think about it though. All right. You and I go. We each get one. That's $44.
Right.
We get one side of fries, which is plenty to share.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you think they're charging for a side of fries? I don't have it in front of me. 10, 11 bucks.
Yeah.
So 44, 45, 50. You're at $60 maybe.
Yeah.
You know?
Couple of mocktails.
Yeah, a couple mocktails. And you're ready to roll out of there for a pretty good price and you're full.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think $22 for this is a really good deal.
Yeah.
If you took the amount in these 3 sliders of meat and put it as one steak on a plate at any signature restaurant, $58 to $68.
Okay.
Now, of course, that would probably come with, you know, a vegetable and some sort of carb or starch, but still, I just think the price of this.
Yeah.
Okay, you go to a really fancy steakhouse where all the sides are, you know, like
right.
a yachtsman. You know, you got to order the sides and pay separate. You're still paying easily $48 to $58 for this amount of meat, if not more.
Okay.
So I actually think $22 is a steal. I would gladly pay $30 or something for this. I don't want them to do that.
Why are you saying that out loud? Disney's listening.
Hey, if the price of this goes up to $30, I'm sorry, folks, but it's worth it. It is worth the extra $8. Trust me. So Lou did say, because Ron and I actually chatted about this.
Yeah, we did.
About how perfect it was having nothing on it.
It reminds us of the, what do you call them? Smash burgers.
Mm-hmm.
That you make, which you smash them down on a griddle. You take onions and kind of, they don't get completely caramelized, but you cook them and then you smash them on top of the burger. And I think you usually put butter on the buns.
Put butter on the buns. You put cheese on top, and you've got this incredible
Sometimes you don't. We've done.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I kind of want to make sliders today now.
Okay.
Yeah. So Lou said, ask for caramelized onions on top, and I will try that next time.
I personally think it would be
I'll be very
good,
interested to see.
But I think they're so good by themselves, they don't need it.
Here's what we could do next time. I order one with caramelized onions. You order one without, and we can literally do a taste test side by side and see which one we prefer. Because I do think you could do more with this, and it's not going to take away. It's just not going to be needed. You could put caramelized onion. You could put fried onions. You could put... or cheese. You could turn this into a true little slider, like this ridiculously elevated slider, and have lettuce and tomato and all. It is not needed. Meat bun. You know, I can tell you who would love these more than anything. It's probably Kaylin.
Yeah.
Kaylin loves filet mignon and steak. She loves just a meat and bun, no cheese, no nothing burger.
Yeah.
This is like taking a burger to just the most elevated level possible.
Yeah.
I
kind of want to take her now.
I know. Seriously, right?
Can we take them next Thursday? Just kidding.
Yeah, I wish we could. I've already missed so much school. Although I didn't really miss it. I wouldn't say I've missed it, Bob. It's an office space.
I'm like, what?
He says, you seems like you've been missing a lot of work. And he goes, I wouldn't say I've been missing it. See, you would find the humor of Office Space funny. All right, let's move on to Rhonda's solo day.
Oh, Lord.
That following day on Sunday, I was at the Momentum Workshop all day long. Talk about your Sunday a little bit, because you dined.
This was Saturday.
Okay, Saturday you did dine at Satali Canteen, and then we'll go to Sunday. Yep. My bad. That's right.
With Tay and stuff, and Steve, and Babs. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then, and Jana, which was Tay's sister. So we all had a big group, and Stephanie wanted to eat here, and I was like, oh, Jeremy's going to hate me, but I'm so excited. Prior in the past, these bowls were very large. Yeah.
If you didn't hear me earlier, Satali Canteen. I kind of I kind of slid that in there when you corrected me on the dates.
Okay. They were large, and Jeremy and I would share. Mm-hmm. So since Taylor was there, I was like, Taylor, if I don't eat everything, will you eat it? And he was like, I don't like the in the bowl. We were talking about the bowls because I was going to get a bowl. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't like the veggie slaw and the boba. And I was like, well, I don't either. You can take that off. That's awesome. So I got actually the beef smoked chimichurri braised beef bowl. And that was just the beef. And then I got the base was the noodles.
Okay, yeah.
Because I was like, just chimichurri beef and noodles.
That sounds amazing.
That sounds just great.
Because they have the shrimp bowl, which comes with noodles, which we have had a long time ago, but we've never done one of the kind of, we'll call it make your own. And this is true make your own bowl. I know they're calling it that over at Pecos Bill now, which we covered 2 episodes ago, and we did enjoy the options, but it's not really a make your own bowl the way that this is. You get to pick what? Base, protein, topping, dressing. Or they all come with the slaw and boba, right? But you get to pick your dressing.
They are.
So you really have 3 items, I believe, that are pretty much in your control between the multiple bases, the multiple proteins, and the multiple dressings.
Yes.
Yeah. And everyone we've had, we've enjoyed. We definitely like some better.
100%.
And that chimichurri. And that steak. Oh, it's so good.
It is. And the chicken's really good. But
I haven't even stepped foot in that place in a long time.
No, they're not.
Like. Oh, they're not?
Well, it was just back in the... back.
But when you walk through the queue, they have that big area up front with the grills that they're like cooking the meats right there. Maybe they weren't doing it at that moment. Yeah,
because I was mobile order, and it was because they were only allowing mobile order.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't remember seeing anybody cooking.
So was it still as good as you remember?
So it was, but it was a lot smaller than I remember.
Really? Okay.
Because I ate the whole thing.
Now,
so,
you and I, though, have been doing the combo bowl, which does include the chicken as well.
Yeah.
So I wonder, it may be that you get a little bit more with that one.
Maybe, and maybe.
But did you eat it all, or did Tay have to step in?
Nope, I ate it all.
Wow.
It was
That's awesome.
fantastic.
Great.
I
Good.
loved it.
I do want to get back.
So, yes,
It has
it
been a
was
very long
really good, and I was very excited and very pleased with it. So,
Okay, so
Now,
Sunday.
the
Now, this
Sunday.
is Sunday when I was still at the conference all
Yes.
day. Where did you go? You decided to hit Hollywood
Well,
Studios, right?
I did. Steve was going to meet me there, but he texted me that morning and unfortunately had some stuff to do. So he was like, you can go anywhere you want, because I could go anywhere I wanted because it was a good to go day.
Yeah.
But he, being a cast member and everything, had to
It was
do
pretty
Hollywood.
limited that whole weekend.
It
yeah.
was. Which then, of course, we could go into Hollywood and then go anywhere we want
Sure.
because we could hop.
Sure.
But I was like, you know what? I'll totally go to Hollywood. That's cool. So we did. And then once I got there, I was like, I want to do
What do I
a
do
few
with
things.
myself?
Well, I was like, I want to do a few things where then I can probably go to the Brown Derby Lounge.
Yeah.
Because when we had breakfast, Stephanie at Grand Flow Cafe,
Yeah.
Stephanie got the Cobb salad, and I asked her if it was better than Brown Derby. She said not better, but very good.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I want their famous Cobb salad. So so I went and watched Indiana Jones by myself, the stunt show, and then went over and ended up going to Brown Derby Lounge and got the Cobb salad. Oh, and with this story, so I was headed to go in to check in, and anytime you do at Hollywood Studios, we have our magic band on, and we always have our ID ready to go and show them. I realized that when we went to Springs the night before, I gave Jeremy everything in his
ID
wallet.
to show who?
When you scan your magic band to show for your pass holder and your free parking.
Oh. I was thinking you were talking about the front gate to get in. I'm like, why would they need your ID at the
Nope.
turnstile?
Nope.
Yes.
When you go to
yes.
park,
We always have our ID ready to
they
roll, and
are
they're always very
very
appreciative of
grateful.
it because they're going to ask you otherwise.
usually.
Yep.
Yes, they will. And then when you're not ready, they'll ask, and then I feel like you're holding the line up.
Right.
So
We always try to be ready.
be prepared. So I'm like, oh crap. So I have taken a picture on my phone years ago of my ID, and
Very smart.
it is because a lot of people will actually take that.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh crap. So let's see how far I can get in Disney World without an ID and without a credit card.
Yeah, debit or credit card.
Either one.
Yeah.
So I went up and showed him my ID, and he took it, and I got to park, and then went through, and anything, that I went to buy, like Stitch, the snack attacks, everything I can use on my phone because I have Apple Pay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what I asked. Do you take Apple Pay? Do you take Apple Pay?
Yeah.
So
we
I
use
went,
that quite often at the regular
we do, because
merch shops or
technically-
even food shops. You can use it during the festival, correct?
Yes.
Apple Pay is accepted at all
Yes.
locations because I know some of them get iffy. Like when you get into China, Japan,
They-
a lot of times they're
yes.
running on different systems. Like they won't take annual pass holder, for example.
Correct.
Or
they
the
usually
little
still-
umbrella stand next to Sleepy Hollow in Magic Kingdom will not take pass holder discount because
Right.
of the third party company that it is owned by.
Right.
Yeah.
And Apple Pay is better to use. I found that out the hard way when I did have money stolen from me because I used my card at a gas station. And the
Yeah.
guy told me, because I was like, the first time it's really ever happened like that I was like freaking out. And he said the best way is to always use Apple Pay because the way the numbers work and
Yep.
it goes through two things. I don't know. He explained it.
Well, yeah. And when you're at that, a lot of people, thieves will put these skimmers on the machines at gas stations or ATMs.
Right.
So, with you actually physically swiping your card, it's a lot easier for them to steal your information
Right.
as opposed to the touch point, like using Apple Pay or even the chip in your card, are much more secure because it's encrypting the data as it goes from your phone to the
Right.
pump or whatever it may be, as opposed to actually swiping it, and then they can just, boom, take it right off your mag stripe. So,
With all this being said, I just started asking, like, do you take Apple Pay before? So I went to Brown Derby Lounge to get seated, and I said, just one. And I said, but before you do anything, I need to know, are y'all able to take Apple Pay? And she was like, yeah. She's like, but let me ask. So she goes and asks, and the waiter even tells me the reason they can is because they are not taking me off stage to run
process it.
and process
because they took you with them to
Correct.
the area to check out.
Correct.
To make sure everything was legit, I suppose, right? I mean, we had to do it at Rainforest one time.
Yeah, I mean, they just took me to a computer that I just then had to tap my phone, and then I was like a little nervous because I was like, oh gosh, can you tip on this too? And he was like, yeah. So I did. So I got to sit. I looked at the mocktails. I didn't want anything. So I just had water. It was a very, very hot day.
Yeah.
So I just wanted some nice water to kind of try to keep me hydrated. But I got their famous Cobb salad, which is spit roasted turkey, bacon, egg, tomato, blue cheese, avocado, classic dressing for $25. I didn't add chicken or shrimp, but you can. Chicken for $32, shrimp for $35. And this was fantastic. I sat and I ate it, and then I paid and got up and went about my day.
What do you think would occur if you had not asked about Apple Pay? You got to the end, and they said, no, we don't take Apple Pay, and you literally have no means of payment.
I have no idea.
I wonder what they do, you know? Because we weren't staying on property, so it's not as though we could charge it back to our room.
Correct.
Even though we have, we use DisneyGiftCard.com to register all our gift cards. In that, it doesn't take a full number. It's not as though you could scan the gift card, because we have a loaded gift card.
Okay.
That, wasn't on you, but it is registered in the website, but there's no way of them getting the full card number and running it. Like, I wonder what would happen, because your only scenario would almost be like, look, I have money. You don't take Apple Pay. What do we do for me to run across the street here to a gift shop and buy a gift card with Apple Pay and then come back and pay you? Or, you know what I mean? I kind of wonder what the process is.
I wonder if you could do that. And then I wonder if
we should ask Steve, actually, because Steve would know, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because he is a cast member and he works at Roundup Rodeo and waits tables. So if at some point somebody said, oh my gosh, I left
everything,
my wallet back in my room, I'm not on property, what do we do? That would be
the smartest.
Remind me to text Steve after.
Yeah.
You remember, I don't normally do the things because I forget them 10 minutes
right
later. But I'll try to remember to text Steve and just ask, out of curiosity, what would happen?
But also going back to how far can I get in a Disney day without anything?
Yeah, you got pretty far, didn't you?
I got the entire day.
Yeah.
I mean, even going back to Springs to get the Joffrey's coffee and the little wooden spoon, scoop spoon.
Yeah.
So,
and that's not to say leave all your stuff in your room. Just carry a phone.
No.
Know that it can be a primary mode of payment. One thing you really should always have, we'll throw this tip in, is cash.
Yeah.
As a backup. You should have cash with you.
Yeah.
So many times, especially I feel like during the festivals, Disney's machines will go down.
Correct.
The entire credit card processing, the entire gift card, the whatever. Now, sometimes it's one or the other. Some will say, we're only taking this. We're only taking this. But a lot of times you will find, especially during the festivals, they're only taking cash.
And
if you don't have it, you're out of luck.
And not only the festivals, but anywhere like on property, there has been times where I've gone to use Apple Pay, and for some reason it's being weird, and I've had to pull out my card, which is fine because I've always had it. This day, though, I was very nervous, and I guess everything was just working in my behalf, I feel like. So,
but it's still one of those things, much like we recommend the gift card wristlet, it is a very easy to use form of payment. So it's understandable that you might go, you know what? All day I'm going to use my Apple phone. I'm going to use Apple Pay. But I've got my credit card or my debit card, some backup cash, whatever. tucked away in my park bag, safe and sound. For me, like I love the wristlets and I love using something like the phone because I don't have to constantly pull my wallet in and out, which makes me just very nervous. I'm a very weird person about my wallet. I'd like it secure. I'm always afraid I'm going to misplace or lose it because so much of your life is just in that wallet. Yeah. Obviously, same with your phone, but that's easier to track down if you were to misplace it. Yeah. You know, so I hate getting my wallet in and out. Yeah. So I love these just easy payment methods.
So there you go.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about a snack real quick. We had the Tower Cookie.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Over at the Joffrey's outside of Tower of Terror at Hollywood Studios.
And I bought another one because I got Gideon's because I wanted to compare them, and we have not yet because Jeremy froze everything.
We got a food saver, and I individually froze these cookies. Mm-hmm. So they will be just as fresh as the day they were baked.
And Rachel, if you're listening, that means yours are too.
We will bring you vacuum sealed Gideon's cookies. Yep. Got them all marked for Rachel because we picked her up some. But yeah, it actually was a really good. And I froze the Tower Cookie.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, so we have the frozen Tower Cookie as well. The Joffreys have different specialty cookies, and we found out when we were getting some treats from Magic Kingdom, the Joffreys over there by Space Mountain in Tomorrowland. They have this s'more cookie.
Mm-hmm. They also had s'more cookie? What was the other one?
That other one? I can't remember now. It was blue, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
I can't remember what it was. But there are these specialty cookies at Joffrey's.
I think
honestly,
blueberry and white chocolate.
It was blueberry
and
white
actually
chocolate.
Sounded really good.
You're 100% right.
But the s'mores cookie were like
really right up our alley.
Yes, because it is a chocolate cookie with chocolate chips, graham cracker pieces, marshmallow, and sea salt for $5.99. It was good, but
it was weird. It delivered on everything it said, but for some reason I didn't love it.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you why I didn't love it. I just didn't.
I don't think it had enough marshmallow and stuff to me.
Could have been.
It was just, it almost was more.
The texture of the cookie too.
Snickerdoodle
was, it didn't taste stale, but it had properties and crumbled, almost like it was kind of stale. Not like a hardened stale. You know how like stuff can almost just deteriorate. Like I think the texture and the consistency of it was weird, and then I don't know, it just didn't work for me. So I didn't love it, but yeah. All right, let's move on to our next one. We got a couple left. We're gonna move on to Yak and Yeti. Been waiting to go here.
This is when I had you back. I was so
excited. You had me back. This was now our camping trip.
Yes.
So this is a whole new weekend. We're together the whole time, and we want to get back to Yak and Yeti. I've mentioned before I use the Fetch app to scan receipts. You earn points. You can trade them in for gift cards. One of those being a Landry's gift card. That is good at Yak and Yeti, Rainforest Cafe, T-Rex, and even over at Bubba Gump over at City Walk, plus restaurants throughout the country. They've got a whole list that Landry's owns. And so I trade them in, usually when I get to a $25 gift card, knowing that we could go use it at Yak and Yeti. So I'd saved up. I had $50 worth that I traded in. If you are using Fetch, it takes 72 hours legitimately for your reward to come in. So if you're planning on using it a specific day, just time it right. I did do it before, where like a day or two before, I went for the reward and we went to Yak and Yeti and I did not have the reward available.
Right.
So we had this, and then what I thought was a $25 reward from Rhonda's birthday in July, because she's the one on the account. So what we found out is that had expired. So if you use Landry's and you're in their select club, which we highly recommend, it is $25. You immediately get a $25 reward. So it's breaks even. You get $25 on your birthday every year. You earn points towards other rewards. Plus, it gives you priority seating. So, you know, we've gone with a group of 6 to Yak and Yeti, where the regular wait time, I think, was like an hour and a half, 2 hours. We got in like 15 minutes. Right. So one thing to note that we found out from the bartender, because we ended up sitting at the bar. We didn't have to utilize that priority seating because we didn't have a reservation. Palmer, and we've sat there before, and he's awesome.
He is.
He let us know that when you get your birthday reward, it is good for the entire birthday month plus 15 days into the next month.
Right.
So Rhonda's birthday being in July, on July 21st, hers was good from roughly July 1st to August 15th.
Right.
We didn't know that, so it had expired, so we didn't get to use it. But I'm telling you, that Fetch app, it is very simple. I have a place for my receipts at home. I stack them up once a week. I sit down, because you have to do them within 14 days. Once a week, I sit down, I scan them all in. And it's as simple as that.
Do you play the games?
I don't. I really don't.
Tina does.
I know she does, and you can earn bonus points.
She gets a lot.
And
Like, she's gotten all these Lululemon gift cards.
And there's a lot of things you can trade it in for. We just, of course, want to put it
play the
towards something
game.
at Disney. I can look at it. But I do the simplest of thing. And about every 6 months or so, I get a $25 gift card.
Okay.
Is it going to change your entire trip? No. But think about it. You're going in a year. Start scanning your receipts now.
Yeah.
You can use them for Amazon gift cards, Walmart gift cards. You could use them for things to even prepare for your trip.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Okay.
So we did not use priority seating because there are actually seats open at the bar.
There was.
So we sat there.
Yep.
Let's talk about Yak and Yeti because unbeknownst to us, they have an updated menu.
Yeah.
Not only in design, but there are some updated and some added items to the menu as well.
Yes. So it's always hard to not get the nachos. But I was looking.
The people next to us got them.
They did. I was looking and I was like, and even Jeremy was like, I'm not picking. So he left it all up to me. And I was like, son of a gun. So,
why don't you
he
pick,
did
Mom?
say, why don't you do like a appetizer? And then, of course, we can do a entree and share. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm looking and I find this crab rangoon. So there's appetizers and then there's like shareables.
Yeah.
Which are for more than two.
Ahi tuna nachos are shareables.
Yes, because it's pretty huge.
That was so much fun to watch him lay that down.
Oh my gosh.
And then the people next to them were like, what is that?
Yes. So the crab rangoon was under the shareables.
Mm-hmm.
And because the nachos are so much, I was like, how big is this? And he kind of explained, and I was like, you know what? Let's just get it.
Yeah.
So it is crab rangoon dip, crispy fried wontons, and this is the number one reason that I got it because it is the same chips as the nachos.
Yeah, those fried wontons.
Yes, and then the sweet Thai chili sauce for $18.99. It comes in a pretty good size ramekin, but so many amazing chips.
Ton of chips.
Oh my gosh. This thing was fantastic.
Yeah. I think, and this is I think these shareables, if being used as an pre-meal appetizer for the table, I think these do 4 people. Very comfortably.
I agree.
If you're all going to get a meal, this is a very comfortable, shareable appetizer for 4 people at least.
Because not only did we eat, and then we were like, well, we're going to go ahead and get the Korean fried chicken and sticky ribs meal. Why don't we like kind of back off? And then I was like, we can take this back to the camper. Like the truck, the chips really.
Yeah, chips
and
are
then
fine, you can eat.
The ragoon, depending how soon we were going to eat it. And we did have a cooler. Yeah. So anyways,
Listen, food safety for the average consumer is very different than obviously food safety for a restaurant. There is no way that it was technically safe for us to eat that crab rangoon dip later. But we did, and we were here to tell the story.
And nobody got sick.
And we do that a lot of times. I mean, we have friends that we go over to their house sometimes at 1 p.m. for football, and we're still eating the same food that has been sitting out at 8 p.m. And we're all still here to tell the story. So I'm not recommending that you eat leftovers that have not been properly kept at a specific room temperature. And my thought too is it's hot enough outside, the dip is going to stay a little bit warm, but we did put it in the cooler when we got back to the room, which was right.
And it didn't taste weird.
We literally went to Animal Kingdom just to have lunch.
Right.
I mean, really, I eyeballed Everest's single rider line both times we walked past because I was going to do it, but it was long. Do we do anything else? We rode Dinosaur.
Oh, yeah, we did.
And there was barely anybody in there.
It was a walk-on.
Yeah. It was sad to see. I'm so glad I'm not so glad it's getting replaced. I'm excited for its replacement. Again, I always wish we could have an addition.
Yeah.
But I will miss Dinosaur.
Yeah.
I love Dinosaur.
I do too.
Yeah. But that was the only reason we were going. So, again, nobody's ever going to come eat at our house or, hey, would you like these leftovers? They'll be like, when is it from?
I always do that.
Yeah.
I'll call my mom and go, Mom, this has been this long in the refrigerator. Can I eat it? Can I not?
Rhonda, we were talking about this last night.
No, I do not.
Rhonda uses her mom as Google.
No, I don't.
Which I think it's adorable. I mean, it just shows the relationship that you guys have and
Mommy's
the
my
trust
best friend.
and I know, and you you think that your parents will always know everything. Even when you're 45 years old, you still want to go to them for things. Me too. I think it's awesome. I'm just saying. But we were talking about that last night, and I forget what we were talking about, and Tina brings up her phone to Google it. And I just thought Rhonda would just text her mom. Like, she wouldn't even Google it. Like, that's your first line
And
of
then
defense.
Rob said,
yeah.
Well, and then your mom probably Googles it. And then...
No, she just knows.
Yeah, she does
Like,
know.
moms know. Especially that
does.
generation of moms.
Oh, yeah.
They know. The moms and dads, our moms and dads, that generation.
Yep.
That are now in their late 60s to 70s to sometimes 80s. They know everything. They
Yes,
just know it.
they
They
do.
were the original Google. They couldn't
They
because
were.
they couldn't rely on it.
Right.
They grew up in a generation that would introduce the internet when they were adults and much older and Google and things like that. But growing up, they just had to know everything.
They had
and
to
everybody
read
before
books.
them, yeah. It sounds awful. And everybody before them had to know everything.
Yeah.
So their parents knew it. Like, everybody just knew things.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know anything. Mm-hmm. We just Google it.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
All right.
Anyways.
How to segue in a podcast. I just Googled that. Or you could ask your mom. What were we talking about? The
crab rangoon
oh my God, it's amazing.
dip was amazing. So then he was
Hot,
like,
cold.
yeah,
leftover.
either one, right?
Yep. 2 a.m. in a car. Camper?
No, we did not. So then he was like, do y'all...
We love the crab rangoon dip over at City Walk at Cowfish. This blows it away.
Yeah.
I think this is so much better than Cowfish.
And the
Cowfish
chips
is still outstanding. I don't know what they do to these chips.
They're so good. But I will
incredible.
say, when they sit in a cooler...
Yes.
And they get cooler...
Yes.
So it would have been probably...
We should have separated the chips from
them.
the dip in the cooler.
But it still was good.
It was outstanding.
I'm not
I
going to
love
lie.
this.
I'm not going to lie.
I mean, ahi tuna nachos are going to always be the go-to, but man, I put this up there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I don't know,
if you want those chips and you don't want like the whole
the
big
amount of that ahi, because here's the thing: the ahi tuna nachos, you don't want leftovers.
No,
I'm not eating. Don't worry, guys. I'm not eating leftover, unkept tuna, raw tuna. I'm definitely not doing that. So you can't save these nachos and have it be anywhere near what it was. It's going to be soggy. It's going to be gross. Yeah, and you're eating the tuna that's left over. You just don't want that. So I would get this again and again.
So he asked what we wanted for the dinner.
Yeah.
And he was the bartender. So
They're
looked.
busy as all get out.
They were.
And they are killing it.
And I looked and I was like, and he was doing his, because he didn't come over to us, but I was like, oh. And I'm like, oh, I just need to tell him. And he's typing it in. And I'm like, can I get the Korean fried chicken and sticky ribs? Well, he was like looking back and forth. And I think he only heard Korean fried chicken.
Yeah.
And they have that as another shareable. And it comes out on crispy, like something. What are those little, you know what I'm talking about? The crispy little white.
They're like noodles.
Like white noodles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're like, I'm trying to think of what kind of noodles they are, and they flash fry them real quick.
Okay.
And they crisp up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are the ones.
Light and airy. They're really good.
And they were actually chicken like tenders, I guess you would call them, where the Korean fried chicken and sticky ribs was hand battered buttermilk and marinated fried chicken, Korean sticky ribs, cucumber, kimchi, jasmine rice, and then this, I don't know how to say this,
Gochujang.
honey sauce. So you literally had like chicken legs so they were bones.
Mm-hmm.
The ribs
it was a drum,
were bones.
And it was a drum and a breast.
Yes. And
one of the biggest I've seen.
Oh, they were very, very large.
But the leg, I mean, the drum leg and the chicken breast were giant. Like, I want to see what this chicken looked like.
But going back
the size
to
of a turkey.
But going back to, he heard Korean fried chicken, which was under the shareable.
Yes.
And when that came out, I was like, I kind of don't want this. I wanted the ribs and I wanted the jasmine rice.
Here's the thing.
And
we are
I
the
felt
type
bad.
of people, because we're the type of people that feel bad.
And we were going to eat it.
We almost just ate it and just said we're not going to say anything. And then we both were like,
But
we really want to talk about
right.
the ribs and the chicken and this new item on a menu. And it honestly is the only reason we corrected, because the other dish looked delicious.
Oh, it did.
Looked amazing.
It looked very good.
Just wasn't what we had thought we ordered.
Right. So the other bartender came over and I actually said the ribs, sticky ribs one. And he was like, okay. So he takes it away, puts it on the back, and then types it in, or I don't know if he goes and tells the person, chef. But they remade it, and then they took off the fried chicken shareable.
Yeah, obviously,
because then I wasn't sure if he knew. I was confused for a little bit, and then I was really confused when the bill came, because all we paid for was the crab rangoon dip
and
mocktails. Jeremy's mocktail.
Yeah.
Well,
because you got a no.
I got a
Hito,
no-hito.
You know, which I will say is not. We did find it on one menu.
So I don't say it like that.
I can't remember if it was at Geyser or it was at Crockett's. You always say a non-alcoholic mojito.
I say a virgin mojito.
Because if you say no-hito, they're going to hear mo, and they're going to give you an alcoholic.
Correct.
But
that's most
what I'm of the places, even if not on the menu, just ask them for that if you do not drink alcohol or you don't want it for whatever reason, and they will make you one.
Yeah.
I did do the Everest Refresher, which is sparkling water with, you can either pick desert pear, passion fruit, lychee, or exotic citrus flavors. I picked the desert pear, I think. No, I picked the passion fruit.
I think you picked
That's
the
what
passion
he recommended, was the passion fruit.
Mm-hmm.
This was fine, but it tasted like a little bit of passion fruit syrup and some soda water. Like,
I'm sorry.
It was like, I wouldn't get it again, but
Yeah.
it was fine. It was refreshing, but it was really, really carbonated. Like almost too much, you know what I mean? Where you couldn't you had to just take sips or it was going to blow your esophagus up, I feel like, with all that carbonation. But so
let's talk about the food though.
Well, no, but so I mean, literally,
and then we
they
can
took
get to
off,
the bill.
Okay. Well, you were just mentioning they took off the entire Korean fried chicken and sticky ribs, which was $32.99.
Mm-hmm.
And apologize. Do you think it took 15 or 20 minutes once they corrected the order to come out? Which I don't think is absurd or too long.
And we were talking, and we were just
we were
having
no
a great
rush.
time.
We were whatever. And Palmer apologized. I'm sorry, I forget. I didn't catch the name of the other.
I didn't either.
Bartender cast member. At one point, the manager came out and was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I know this took a little while," and we're just like, "It's all good." And then they were like, "Oh, we took off the meal for you," and we're just like, "Thank you. You didn't have to do that."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, I know it took a while. You got bones in the chicken and the ribs. They take longer to cook." And I'm like, I can't believe you got it out in the time you did.
And
that's
then
amazing.
It was funny because Palmer was like, "Why? Leave it to them to name it the same thing." Because I mean, literally, there is a shareable that is the Korean fried chicken.
Yeah, it's called straight up Korean fried chicken.
And then I mean, this is the dish that is the entree that is Korean fried chicken and sticky ribs.
So very, very understandable mistake.
100%.
I would have made the same mistake. I'd make a lot more than that as mistakes. If I tried to bartender wait, I'd be awful. Those people, I'm telling you, it's just, it takes a mind. Our friend Tina waits part-time in addition to her regular day job. And just hearing her talk, because she'll tell us lots of stories of the table she has and what she has to do. And I'm just I honestly don't know how those people do it.
I don't either.
It's so much going on at one time. And it's easy to say, well, I'd write everything down, which I would have to. We've got a guy up at the Two Creeks, Razor.
Yeah.
He swears that is his name. And it's his name on all his social media. He's the nicest guy. But we have gone up there with 10 of us. And he has not wrote a single thing down.
He remembers everything.
And a lot of us would change our orders and customize them.
Yeah.
And he remembered every last one. Now he's a musician. So it does make a little bit of sense there. There's lots of memorization with, I would think,
Could you do it? You used to be.
Just because I played guitar doesn't mean I was a musician. Let's just say that.
But
I couldn't read
really
music.
good.
I couldn't, but yes, I can remember lyrics to most every 90s alternative song that's ever been written. I just created an oldies station from the 50s and 60s. I can remember every word to all those songs. But I don't think I could do it but that's repetitive and it has a cadence to it. You know what I mean? A melody. So anyway, What were we talking about?
This has gone off the rails.
It has.
Today.
How was the Korean fried chicken and sticky ribs?
They were fantastic. The chicken was so tender and good, and oh my gosh, great! Like the fried part to it, it was light, but
it was like a shell,
thick.
But it was light. Yeah, how was it thick and light?
I don't know. It was so good.
As we talk about these, it'd be very easy to try and make comparisons to other fried chicken, but you can't. I'm going to talk about this chicken the same way I talk about the smash burger at Steakhouse 71. I don't think it is in the same. I don't think comparing the Steakhouse 71 smash burger is in apples to apples comparing it to other burgers on property because it's such a different style. Mm-hmm. This is such a different style of fried chicken that I wouldn't try and compare it to Hoop-de-Doo or when we finally spend all that money at Art Smith's.
Right.
Which, by the way, is about the same price for his fried chicken plate at this at $33. Mm-hmm. When you, first of all, like you said, the crust, the crunch, the breaded part was both light but thick.
So good.
So flavorful. The chicken inside, for being white meat in a chicken breast, it was almost as though they had somehow filled this with pulled chicken. Like, that's how tender it was. When you stuck your fork in it and pulled it out, it pulled like pulled chicken.
It was so good.
Unbelievable. The most tender, like moist, white chicken meat I've ever had. Yep. Outstanding. And then the ribs, you could probably try to make a light comparison to Morimoto because these are both Asian-style sticky ribs.
But they're different.
They are different in the flavors. I've not found anything that comes close to Morimoto's.
No. These are very good.
They're tender.
Yes.
They've got great flavor.
Yes, but
if you love Morimoto's ribs, I think you will like these as well. You're probably not going to love them as much. But it also comes to one of those things. I always compare when you're buying a new TV, right?
Yeah.
You worry so much, and you're looking at, because we just bought a new TV, you're looking at two TVs side by side in a showroom, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, this one looks better than that one. Whatever one you get home, you're never going to know. Right? Like, I can't look at our TV that we bought and go, oh, yeah, but you remember the one next to it that was $1,000 more? It had this other set. Like, you can't compare them side by side. So you just look at the one and you love it. And I think that's how these ribs are. Short of you maybe having Morimoto ribs for lunch and then these for dinner, you're not making a direct comparison, so they're outstanding. Like, I didn't eat them going, well, I wish they tasted like this part of Morimoto because we haven't had Morimoto ribs since March.
That's true, but, you know what I mean? But
direct comparison, yes, it's going to be very different. But when you're doing that distant comparison, it's very different.
But I feel like it's also still like back to the Cobb salad where Stephanie was like, yes, it's very good, but Brown Derby's the best. So
do you think the other one is so good that you are able to make a direct comparison even if you hadn't had it recently?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, as far as in like, sense. I'm like, well, okay, I want the direct amazingness one. Yeah. So like, if you're like, I kind of want some Morimoto, but I don't want to go there.
Yeah, and you're in Animal Kingdom. And
I wouldn't come here and go, oh, I can get them, like, because then you're just like, you're not getting the best. I would just go to Morimoto.
Right, but I think it is a good substitute because getting over to Disney Springs, especially for those folks that come
but I would
not
try
that often, sometimes they can't fit a Disney Springs day in.
And I understand that. But
this is where I would tell them, you like ribs, you like Asian sticky ribs, then go get these if you can't make it to Morimoto, and you will be satisfied. Right? I would get. Let's just say I would get this dish again.
Yes, I would too.
And
it was very good.
I would like to do the Korean fried chicken shareable, except that it is boneless. It is more tender based.
Yeah.
So I would be interested to see how it compares because I'm telling you, the inside of this chicken was some of the best I've ever had.
It was so good.
Now I would take it still a standard like Publix fried chicken coating as opposed to the Korean style.
Yeah.
But it was just amazing. I loved it. Yak and Yeti, continue. We were like, we need to go back. We need to make sure it's still good. Mm-hmm. It is.
Yes.
Everything we've ever had here is outstanding. Yep. And it is hard to pick what to eat here.
I know. It really is.
So much good stuff.
Yes.
All right. We got two more, and I promise we're done. We're going to move on to Crockett's Tavern with a little bit of an update here. We do love the changes to Crockett's Tavern. I think I love them as much as I hate them.
Okay.
Because I miss Trails End as it was, but I do love that they have a quick service option like this now. So again, it's one, I wish we could have both.
Yeah. I'll agree with that.
And I like the accessibility now of a Crockett's. You know, we did that episode recently about where to watch football games.
Yeah.
They have a lot more TVs than I remembered here with the update. They've got 5.
3.
No, there was more than that. There were 2 in front of us. There were 2 behind us behind the bar. And I think there was a 5th one over in that one side. There was at least 4, if not 5. And they're good sized TVs. They're much better than what they used to have there. So it is a very good spot
Well, there was
to go make it for
one
football,
that just had like Disney on it.
Yeah, but I'm saying they could put sports on all of them.
Maybe, but I think that was 4 with us. And if you saw another one inside closer to the quick service.
Yes,
then...
I think there was one there.
Okay.
So again, it's one of those, I wish we could have both. I'm sorry I keep going off on tangents because there's just so much that's happened in the past 3 weeks since I feel like we really got to sit down and talk about it. Like we were going to do an entire episode on the Mickey's Not So Scary and car camping and that trip and wherever we ate. And then so a lot of things got mixed up. I did want to talk real quick about the permit that has now been filed for this 10-story tower that is going next to Fort Wilderness and Wilderness Lodge in between there, the former site of Reflections. The Disney's made no announcements. We don't know if this is going to be a new revamped version of Reflections. We don't know if this is going to be, it's gearing. The rumors seem to be that it's going to be related to Fort Wilderness.
Okay.
And after driving, because we did get a golf cart, we called that morning on the way down. They had them available, like $70 a night all in for a 4-seater. I think is great. It's $140 total for the 2. Yeah. So and they've doubled their fleet now that they do not allow any third party golf carts to come in.
Correct.
And of course, they minimize to those 4 camping companies that are allowed to bring stuff in. They're not allowed to bring golf carts though. Okay. So they doubled their fleet.
But you can bring your own.
You can bring your own. There's insurance requirements. So make sure you research those. There are certain requirements for them to approve you bringing in your own. So just look at all those. If you're going to Fort, a lot has changed. But after driving through and seeing the cabins in person, just from the outside, after what they did with Trails Inn and Crockett's, I don't doubt for a second that this is going to be a Fort Wilderness DVC tower, is my opinion. I really think it is going to be. I think they are trying to bridge the gap between Fort Wilderness and Fort Wilderness Lodge. I'm sorry, I just said it. And Wilderness Lodge. Because everybody always says, yeah, we're going to Fort Wilderness, but we're staying at the lodge. No, those are 2 separate things. Or, yeah, we're going to Wilderness Lodge. Where are the cabins or the campground? No, you're 2. And people get confused.
Yeah. They do. I
think naming it Fort Wilderness Lodge would be stupid because it would add more confusion, but I kind of think that's what it's going to be. The outside of those cabins, the feel of Crockett's Tavern, the feel of Trails Inn now, the feel around there is an elevated level that has a Wilderness Lodge feel that I think they're combining with the fort, which a lot of people are already upset about, which is understandable. Here's what I think. How long have we been praising how incredible Fort Wilderness is?
Forever.
A long time. But not everybody has the means to stay there. They don't have a camper. They don't want to sleep in a tent. They don't want to rent a camper. That's understandable, as much as I think you should try it because it is a hotel room on wheels. Right. It can still add up a lot.
Yes.
You know, you now if you have an opportunity for this to be a 10-story tower of that is connected to Fort Wilderness in some way, people can enjoy everything about Fort Wilderness that we have talked about and praised for so long.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of like that idea. A lot of people are not happy with it. I just want people to enjoy one of our favorite places.
Yeah. And then you can still like do things and stay there, like hoop-dee-doo, like ride horses,
exactly, and have access to all those things, but be in a hotel. Yeah. Now, if it's a DVC, it's going to be on that deluxe level value, so who knows what it could cost, but maybe they surprise us. Now, I think it needs its own amenities. It's going to need its own pool. It's going to need its own restaurants, its own lobby, all of that stuff. A lot like what they're doing with the Poly Tower.
And I don't think the camping, like, because when we go to camp, we're still going to be in that loop section of that.
It's not going to take away from that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're right. It's not like they're putting a tower right next to a loop of campers and tents
Correct.
or something. So
Correct.
I didn't feel that it lost any sort of feel or luster. It hasn't upgraded when you go to a Crockett's, obviously, and a Trails Inn and those things, but it still has that Fort Wilderness feel to me.
Yeah.
I still love it, and I hope more people get a chance to.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about Geyser Point. Speaking of Wilderness Lodge, we did make it over there. It had been a very long time since we had been to Geyser Point. I think last July, so over a year.
Wow.
They have new menu items that since that time. So these were all new to us.
Yep.
You want me to start with mine?
Sure.
Okay, I got the steak sandwich. This is thinly sliced steak, almost like a roast beef, served with smoked Gouda beer cheese sauce, which comes in its own little carafe on the side, so you can pour it yourself. Roasted red bell pepper, arugula, caramelized onions, all on a pretzel roll for $20. Comes with fries, and it is absolutely unbelievable.
I do love that it came with this smoked Gouda beer cheese in a carafe because we were totally taking the French fries and dipping them in there.
Oh my God, it was so good.
They were so good. And if you don't like a ton of cheese, like on your steak sandwich, pour them over your fries and then
dip
have
just
almost
or
loaded
dip 'em or
fries
or
dip them.
So
It was so,
So this is not a Philly cheesesteak.
Yep.
It is an elevated steak sandwich. So don't get them confused. But I loved every bit of it. I ate the entire thing. It is a load of food.
Yeah.
Very, very
it was big.
shareable.
Yes, it was. But we did not share. Well, we shared as far as in a bite goes.
Yes. I loved everything about it. I still think the Bison Burger is the best burger on property. And I still think it's probably the best thing here. But if I went back and you said, Jeremy, you're not allowed to get the Bison Burger, I'd be like, okay, steak sandwich. And I wouldn't, I'd be happy. I'd be perfectly satisfied. Highly recommend this dish. What did you get?
Well, I got their fried chicken sandwich. This is with a sweet chili glaze, spicy slaw, lettuce, and tomato for $19. And this thing was outstanding. The fried chicken was just perfect. I cut it down the middle. And then
it was huge, wasn't it? It was hanging off the
yes,
outside of the bun.
Yes, it was.
Not quite to the level of like Pim's Test Kitchen over on the West Coast there.
It was so
but like it was a huge chicken patty.
Yes, and the sweet chili glaze and the spicy slaw, like the whole thing together was fantastic. And I did not eat the whole thing.
We took some with us.
We did because I was full. I took a bite of Jeremy's steak sandwich and then I took the whole half that I ate, the fried chicken sandwich, but it was so good.
I had some cold bites later.
I know.
It was still
you did.
good.
And I wanted to eat more of it, but I didn't. But this was great. And it comes with fries as well.
Yep.
So again, dipping them in that beer cheese. And then I would probably, because it comes on the steak sandwich and you can't ask, I would totally like if you were just getting like the steak sandwich, the fried chicken sandwich, I'd probably ask for the smoked Gouda beer cheese on the side to dip with the fries.
Yeah, just
I'm
charge
sure
you a
they
couple
would.
bucks. I'm
Yep.
sure they would, or just
100%.
hook you up. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Going back to that in Fort Wilderness, if you are doing something like tent camping or car camping, there are microwaves and toasters in Trails End that are you can use.
Yep.
So like we could have gone and reheated those items, or even the crab rangoon dip if we really wanted to.
And the next morning we did get coffees, and they had a strawberry shortcake latte.
Yes.
And a s'mores latte.
Yeah.
Jeremy
done the
did
s'mores
get that.
before.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jeremy did
They
get
can
that
do a
decaf, and it was very good.
Very good.
My strawberry shortcake, holy moly, was fantastic.
He loved it.
It was great. It tasted just like strawberry shortcake coffee to me.
It tasted like Hoopty-Doo's
so
strawberry
good.
shortcake dessert in
So
coffee
good.
form. Yeah.
Yeah.
They do some really inventive stuff down there. And again, I love the Trails Inn quick service. I just wish we could also still have the buffet. I wish there was a way they could do both, which they kind of used to because you had P&J's takeout and then you had Trails Inn as the buffet.
Right.
But the P&J's was very limited.
Yes.
I wish that, somehow they could just do both because they have good food down there. So that was a lot of food. That was a lot.
It was.
Where do you want to eat? Where do you want to do Thursday when we go? I grabbed a dining
no
reservation
idea.
for Thursday night.
Where?
Not set in concrete, just 'cause we haven't done it in a long time. I grabbed Topolino's.
Huh.
But it's a late one, so I can see if we can bump it. The only reason we're going down is we did miss this past weekend, unfortunately, due to Hurricane Milton. That's fine. We are going down. One of my good friends is going to be down with her daughter and her sister and her family, who I've not seen. I can't remember what year it was since
she
Phil
got married.
Yeah, well, she got married, had a child. No longer married.
Correct.
But, She.
And then did he?
I don't think we've ever made
after?
her. Yeah, Phil passed. Our mutual friend Phil, passed away. I'd have to ask the exact date now. I can't remember if it was like 2017, 2018. But that's the last time I saw her was like went back to Maryland for his funeral. And we had all lived together. 3 of us used to live together. Phil and I played music together. They were dating at the time. They did for a long time. Kathleen I lived with her for, 3-4 years or so in the Towson area outside of Baltimore. Was one of my best friends. And so I have not seen her since Phil passed away. It'll
be neat to see her because we've not met her daughter.
Her daughter had just been born. I think she told me.
Oh, you got to meet her daughter?
Couple months prior to Phil's passing and me going up there. So I did not get a chance to meet her
because the last time I think I've seen her was at the wedding.
Yeah, and that's been a really long time. So, and then I went down on a solo trip when she had her honeymoon there. And I went down and saw them.
And you did see them. That's right.
But have not seen her in a long time. So I was like, you know what? Let me see what we can do. And so we're going to go down for the night. They have the Halloween party Thursday night. So if we end up going, if they have tickets for sale and we decide to go, we'll go.
Yep.
If not, then I figured you and I could do a dinner or something somewhere.
100%.
Like maybe we'll do Topolino's, but we could pick anything.
Yeah.
There's a lot available.
Perfect.
So check that out. But that will finally wrap it up for this one.
Okay.
We're going to get back to a little more order, hopefully, coming up soon. Things have been all over the place. So we will get back to a little more routine. It's always an adventure with us now. It is. It really is. And Rain does not want us to go to special events at Disney. Right? Let's go back to Jollywood last year. Let's go to 3 tries at Typhoon Lagoon's Glow Nights. 2 canceled Halloween parties. You know what? It's okay. We still got a lot of good stuff going on.
And we're learning all of this stuff for you guys.
We are. And things have been interesting lately. I don't know how much Rhonda likes it because lately a lot, I just tell Rhonda, whatever you want to do. She's like, what are we doing today? What are the plans? Because I used to plan every little detail. Yeah. And now I'm kind of chill about it. Like I don't worry as much about it. Do you like it?
It annoys me a little bit.
It does a little bit. Doesn't
a little bit.
Do you appreciate it like I used to do? Because I feel like sometimes you used to get annoyed when I had every second planned. Now I don't have any seconds planned sometimes. You want a middle ground? Probably
I think so.
Right.
Because I think it annoys me because I'm not prepared for it. And then I'm like, wait, I don't. And then I get so fearful of like, well, what if you don't like it? Or what if this is like, I don't know.
Everything has been wonderful that I've put you in charge.
Yeah.
You've just ordered. You've just done whatever.
I've done pretty good.
It's been nice.
So.
Honestly, I've enjoyed being a bit more relaxed. I'm not as like uptight and anxious and whatever anymore when we're there. I'm a little more go with the flow. I kind of enjoy it. Okay. It's been like, literally we showed up and I was just like, I don't know, whatever. And you're like, no, wait, what? What are we doing? Yeah. Like, where are we going? What's next? What are we eating? What are we eating at this place? I'm like, whatever, you can pick it. Yeah. So I'll start taking over a little more again. But
I think I'll just be more also prepared to be like, well, all right, what do I want? Yeah. And then I'll just do it. So
it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about
us.
Is we. We is greater than me.
Okay.
Right? And if you are ready for that next trip, of course, no matter where you want to go, our trusted partner, MEI-Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today. Of course, if you hit that subscribe button, you get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, and they will get back to normal, I think. Maybe. We'll see. Holidays are coming up, and I'm excited for that. Christmas time is coming. They've already got stuff down there. I guarantee that Thursday we come home with something Christmas-related from Disney merchandise.
100%.
If you want to hear all about it, again, hit that subscribe button. And Rhonda and I would be super-duper thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.